Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. Have you noticed we've been doing a lot of episodes? Yeah. We're doing a daily episode for the entire year of 2026. I know. So what I'm going to try to do is just to kind of, so I'm not overwhelming you. I know I already am. Overwhelming you too much is every Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be our typical releases here on the How to Podcast series, kind of our teaching or co-hosted or whatever episodes. And then the other ones will be what would be called Daily Daves, but they'll still be Daily Daves, but they're going to have an episode number. And that way I can keep track because there's a lot going on this year here on the How to Podcast series. I'm glad you're here. I would tell you to just look at the episode titles when you're deciding what to listen to next. Because some of these episodes, well, I hope all these episodes help, but for the most part, there's a lot of content coming your way. So wherever you can squeeze this show into your life, thank you. Don't be overwhelmed. Pick and choose. Pick what you like. I'm totally fine with that. We're doing daily episodes in 2026. And one of the things I want to talk about on this episode is building out your YouTube channel as a podcaster, even if you're audio only, like me, on YouTube, the occasional video. One thing you should be leveraging that you're probably not is your YouTube playlists and grouping your episodes together by topic or whatever. And I'm going to give you some examples and why this is important. I think building podcast playlists that YouTube loves and the listeners can't quit can really help your YouTube channel. It's working, by the way. It's working. And it doesn't have to be video to be on YouTube. Sorry, all you gurus out there who hate hearing that, but it's true. I've got proof. Thanks for being here. Let's go. So I have 9 different podcasts that I host. If you're a first timer here, welcome to the show. One of my other shows is called Living the Next Chapter, and it's an author podcast I've had for, into our 4th year now, and it's got over 750 episodes roughly at this point. And on YouTube, it's an audio podcast primarily. Audio because it feeds YouTube Music, which is a standalone app outside of the umbrella of what you would normally think of as YouTube. But YouTube Music is an app on your phone, by the way. And if you don't like the app you're using, try YouTube Music. Its podcasts are right there in it. And to get on YouTube Music, I need an audio version of my podcast. So I'm submitting audio podcasts to YouTube, no video for the most part. And people tell me this is the worst way possible to use YouTube because YouTube's not podcasting, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? You'll hear all the gurus get all worked up about this. There's many of them, and many of them are not happy with what I'm telling you right now. But for my Living the Next Chapter podcast, I have, again, well over 700 episodes, and we're up to like 2,500 to 2,700 watch hours for an audio podcast on YouTube, which we're getting closer and closer, month by month, episode by episode, to that magic number where Dave could be monetized and the audience would be big enough and have enough watch hours and all that fun stuff. Is it my priority? No, not at all. I really don't have that in my wish list at all. I don't really, I'm really not that interested. To be quite honest, transparent, that's not my goal for YouTube. My goal for YouTube is to simply have a presence on YouTube so that people have the potential to find my show. I know, and I have proof, I've had people tell me they've found my show on YouTube and then moved to an audio app like Apple or Spotify or Audible or whatever, fill in the blank. But they found me on YouTube first. So if I wasn't on YouTube, they would never have found me. YouTube is great for finding things. YouTube is great for offering up suggestions to people. Hey, if you liked A, you might like B. And you might be the B to somebody else's A. So you won't get offered up to anybody if you're not there. So the very simplest thing I would encourage you to do is to take your really simple syndication, your RSS feed. That's the backbone of podcasting. That's how podcasts get to Apple and Spotify and all those places. Take that and connect it to YouTube. It's a one-time setup. You and I can do this together over Zoom, screen share, we'll walk you through the steps, and you're done. You connect it once, and then connect it and forget it. You're done. Every episode that goes live to all the other places automatically goes to YouTube. Now, what happens when it gets to YouTube is the important part, because I don't want you to fall asleep at the wheel here. There's an opportunity for you to do a few great things that could really help your YouTube channel. Next episode, we're going to talk about thumbnails and why you need to focus on that. So come back for the next episode tomorrow, and we're going to talk about that on episode 553 about leveraging YouTube thumbnails, some best practices and why it counts and why it matters for you and your podcast. Even if you're audio, you should be doing thumbnails. But you should connect your podcast to YouTube, really. And if you haven't done it yet, you need to do that in 2026. And I'm happy to help you. howtopodcast.ca. Let's get you connected. I'm assuming you're connected to YouTube. Okay, so let's move forward from that part. Again, if you haven't done it, reach out. I'll help you. Love to. Free of charge. Let's get you connected. Let's get you started. Great. Now, you're connected to YouTube. Awesome. Now, when your episodes go live, your episodes go into what is called a playlist originally, and then YouTube rebrands it as a podcast, which makes all the gurus lose their lunch. But it's simply you're just rebranding a playlist to be called a podcast, connected to your podcast through your RSS, really simple syndication feed. That's how it gets out in the world. You connect it, done. And when your podcast goes live to YouTube as an audio podcast, it just shows up as the artwork for your podcast. That little square image that you would see on any of your other podcast apps, that's all that's shown on the screen. Just this picture of your podcast. Nothing else. That's it. And it's quite boring. Yeah. But a lot of people that I know, and I've been asking all the podcasters that I come across, when you're on YouTube, what are you doing? Well, your YouTube video or podcast is playing, and most people are saying, well, I'm in the other room, or my phone is face down and I'm playing with the kids, or whatever. I'm doing something else, and YouTube is on in the background, just like it is on Spotify and just like it is on Audible. You are doing something else while your phone is out of sight and you're not looking at your screen in the moment. There's a good chunk of people who have YouTube on in the background while they're doing something else. And they're not sitting there, eyes focused on the screen, watching a image that doesn't move on the screen. That's not entertaining at all. But they're not looking at the screen. Video's on in the background. It's background entertainment. It's not front of mind. It's not a TV show. And that's where I get a lot of gurus get all upset. They're like, YouTube is like TV, and you have to pay attention. You have to watch the screen. When we watch a movie, I watch a movie with my wife. I'm flipping through my phone because we've probably seen the movie 10 times. And I'm not staring at the screen the entire time. So am I watching a movie on YouTube, or am I listening to a movie on YouTube? I don't know. It's up for debate. The big thing that's not up for debate is having a playlist for your podcast. So all your episodes go to one playlist when they go live. Every time you release an episode, it goes into one specific playlist called the podcast on YouTube. Now, what I would suggest for you is if you have topics you cover on repeat, like so on my author podcast, I have authors who come from all different writing genres and target audiences and topics. So like, for example, I'll have children's authors. I'll have a bunch of people who write children's books. And then I'll also have I'll have all my Hollywood people that have been on the show. They've written for TV, they've been in movies, I have people from The Sopranos, I've had people from Star Trek, I've had all kinds of people on the show. People who wrote for Alf, the TV show. There's all these different people come to me, and it's a group of podcast episodes that I'd like to keep together. I also have people who have served in the military, all of our veterans, no matter what country you're from. I have a group of those people who've written books. I have people who have business books and mindset books and health books and cookbooks and all these different categories and subcategories of authors. And when you come to my show, Living the Next Chapter at livingthenextchapter.com, there's over 700 episodes. A new listener, a new podcast person for me in that show is overwhelmed by the sheer volume of how many episodes and where do I even start? So I'm creating playlists for my guests and putting them together with other authors who write similar things. So if you love books written by veterans, you can go to my YouTube channel for Living the Next Chapter, and there's a playlist for people who have served in the military. And everybody's grouped together. So there's a starting point. And after you go through that group of episodes, then you can move on to the next group of episodes. So there's this cool thing where you can take your big library of podcasts and break them down into smaller chunks so that people coming to you for the first time have this great experience. They get to focus on the things that they want to focus on, and they don't feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of how many episodes you have. So creating playlists by topic, by genre, by, I don't know, let's say you have a music podcast. You could have a playlist of all the jazz people who have been on the show, all the 80s rock stars, all the people who play classical, all the people who play blues. You could take your entire podcast about music and break them down into smaller bite-sized chunks and group your episodes together for the person who just wants the jazz, man. That's it. I don't want to listen to everything else. I just here for the jazz, right? So help them out by creating playlists that help your audience to connect with the content they're looking for instead of being overwhelmed by 700 episodes or 200 episodes or 50 episodes. Group your stuff together and leverage playlists. You can just keep creating more and more playlists. It's very important. I have one extra bonus playlist you should be doing also I'll put here at the end, just to keep in mind. But let's jump into this a little bit more. I am surprised by how many podcasters are asleep at the wheel when it comes to podcasts and playlists on YouTube. Again, we're talking all things YouTube here today, so don't be offended, don't be afraid. We're still talking podcasting, no matter what those gurus tell you. Playlists can quietly double your impact on YouTube for your podcast when they are treated as part of your show design and not some afterthought that you do when you have time. For podcasters, the goal is to make it effortless for a viewer to press play once and then keep them watching and listening in sequence. You want somebody to come to you and stay. And YouTube wants the same for you. So there's a lot of interesting things. The next episode, after the next episode, we're going to be talking about your end screen and why that's important and how you can keep people listening and stay in your world longer. So don't miss that. That'll be episode 554. So make sure you come back for that one as well. So some things we need to think about. There's 5 things I want to talk about today around YouTube playlists in relation to your podcast. Number 1, use a dedicated podcast playlist for your show. YouTube treats a podcast as a playlist, which again makes all the gurus angry. Doesn't bother me at all. So every show should have one clearly labeled dedicated playlist that contains only full episodes, given an exact show title and a few keywords. For example, Dad Space Podcast, Fatherhood, Parenting, Mental Health. Example, that's a great example. So that's a show that I also do. But so that it's obvious to both humans and to the search what this playlist is. Don't give it some cutesy name, some word you made up that no one would ever search. You're just painting yourself into the corner. Use simple, searchable terms and words and the name of the show. That's the name of the playlist, okay? And avoid generic playlist episode names like episodes or seasons. They do nothing for discovery on YouTube. Make sure you be very careful with that. I rename my podcast episodes on YouTube differently than I name my podcast episodes on audio players. In YouTube, I remove the episode number because that's different on YouTube. YouTube has a way of connecting episode to episode, which we'll talk about in episode 554 in a few episodes from now. YouTube has a great way of connecting your episodes together, so I don't need the episode number in the same way that I feel like I need the episode number in my audio podcasts. YouTube is great for search. That search bar, you can find anything on anybody's channel. It's great. I love it. If I can't find something, I go to YouTube before I go to my computer, and I search on YouTube first. A guest name, a topic, a grouping, a book title, whatever. I use YouTube as my search, even within my own content. So I avoid things like episodes, and season numbers, and season written out, and the name of my podcast and the title of my episode. I take it all out on YouTube, and I leverage that 100 character limit to its extent on YouTube, because that's how people are finding me. We also need to put this playlist front and center on your channel home so that new visitors who come know exactly where to start. That's super important. So the second thing to think about when you're creating your playlist for your podcast on YouTube is your order and structure for binge listening to help your audience. Think of your main playlist as your box set. Back in the day, we would buy like all of the songs from your favorite artist in a box set. You get everything, right? That's kind of an idea for a playlist. It's everything in one, and it helps your viewers and encourage them to keep going and stay with you longer. So treat your playlist like a box set, everything in one location. That's a first start. We're going to branch away from that as well by having additional playlists, which get more into topics and guests and subject matter. That's the extra part here. But your main playlist is your all-in-one. For narrative or highly sequential shows, sort your playlist by oldest first. So if you have a story podcast and it's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, if you have newest first, people are going to see chapter 25, and they're going to have to sort it backwards. So if you have any kind of things that's done in series where you have to listen to episode 1 before you move to episode 2, then you want to sort your playlist by oldest first. That way everybody who comes starts where you want them to start, not what shows them by default. So you have the power to set that. For me, I have everything set at the most recent episode first for the How to Podcast series, and that's just the way I've set it. But you set yours with whatever works for your show. For topical shows, you can keep it the newest first, is what I do, but always make sure that each episode's end screen, which we'll talk about in the next episode, points to the next logical episode on the master playlist. You want to keep them in your world once you get them. And then add chapters and clear titles so viewers can jump within an episode without leaving the playlist. Once they're in your playlist, you want them to stay in your playlist. And that's how you're going to grow your podcast playlist on YouTube. The third part is you need to optimize every episode inside the playlist. This takes some work, but it's going to pay off. Playlists, they're great. They boost session watch time, but only if the video is optimized to get the click and hold the attention for people to stay longer. Use strong, benefit-driven titles around 70 to 100 characters total that are consistent, recognizable, and you have thumbnails that signal this is the same show as the other show, the other episode you just saw. You want everything to be themed, colors match, logos the same. You're not all over the place. People need to know that this episode is also from this creator without having to click through to find out. Write search-friendly descriptions with key topics and timestamps and links to your audio feeds or your website. This helps YouTube search and Google. So having in your show notes on YouTube for each episode, you should have a link to your website in the show notes. I always have it down at the bottom. Put it wherever you want. Some people are going to tell you I'd have it at the top, whatever, as long as it's there. That's going to help. Have links to your guests. If you have a book, if they have a website, have a link to that. So many gurus that I listen to who teach podcasting, they don't even put links to their guests on their show in the show notes. It's the biggest missed opportunity. So make sure you do that. Put links for everything mentioned, anything you bring up, a book, a resource, a website. There should be a link in your show notes. Don't frustrate your audience. And make sure those links are also in YouTube. They also need to be the full link, not some little shortened link, some pretty link or whatever. You want the real link so that people can go to that website. So make sure it's there in complete form that you would see at the top of your screen on your web browser. and enable captions and upload transcripts to YouTube. More text to index will help you to improve your accessibility for your YouTube channel. Those are all options. And if you're like, Dave, I have no idea what you're talking about, you and I need to spend some time together over at howtopodcast.ca. Calendar links right there. We can do this one-on-one anytime you want. Fourth thing, you got to create supporting playlists for discovery paths. So this is what I was talking about from the beginning. Beyond your main playlist for your podcast, build smaller themed playlists that group episodes by topic or audience. Example, podcasting gear and tech could be one playlist. Mindset for creators could be the next one. Live Q&A replays. All of these are sub playlists that are in addition to, not competing with, but in addition to your main playlist, your box set. Add each episode to the main playlist plus one or two relevant topical playlists to create multiple entry points into your catalog. Again, it breaks them down into smaller bite-sized pieces, which will make people more curious and stay longer. Use these supporting playlists as links and descriptions and end screens, which we'll talk about in episode 554, and pin comments to funnel viewers deeper into related content. Once you get them, you want them to stay. Make your playlist super sticky. Make it like quicksand. Once they're in, they're in. That's what you want on YouTube. Number 5, you need to tie your playlists into shorts and into community as well. For podcasters, playlists are destinations. Shorts and community posts are like on-ramps onto the highway. Turn key moments into shorts and always link the full episode or the main playlist in the caption and the end screen. And use pinned comments on long episodes, like ask a question, pin your own answer, or link to the main playlist or best first episode playlist. That's a great playlist idea, actually. Share new or refresh playlists in community posts when you hit milestones. Start here if you are new to the show. That's a super idea for a playlist for new people. And then share that link in your email signature or in social media. The main thing to think about as we kind of head towards the door around playlists is you need to be on YouTube, first of all. That's the first thing. Your podcast should be on YouTube. Whether or not it's video or audio, doesn't matter. It should be there. Treat playlists like curated series, not like storage bins. When your main podcast playlist is clearly branded, well-ordered, and supported by topical playlists, shorts, and smart linking, you turn one casual view into multi-episode listening sessions that grows both the watch time and loyal subscribers on YouTube. And YouTube will definitely be excited to promote you and share your content when you're using YouTube the right way. So if you haven't set up your playlist yet at all, start thinking about what kind of groupings can I put my episodes into. If you have a podcast about travel, maybe it's like amusement parks, places to eat, bars and restaurants, must-see activities, things to do with kids. Those are all like little mini playlists that you could then group episodes into, even if there's only 1 or 2 episodes. But then you can start thinking, you know what? I need to do more episodes about this grouping so that I can fill up that playlist. It gives you episode ideas. So there's a lot of wins here. And if you're stuck on YouTube and you're not sure what to do, reach out to me anytime. You and I can get together, work on your YouTube channel, make it super easy so that you know what to do next. Next episode, we're talking about YouTube thumbnails. And then the following one after that, we're going to talk about YouTube end cards. That's the screen that shows up at the end of your video, why it's important and why you need to do that every episode. And I'm thrilled to have you here. So let's get back here tomorrow on episode 553, and we're going to talk about more YouTube and more podcasting. Glad you're here. Take care. Thank you so much for listening to the entirety of the episode, including this part. You know what? A lot of people leave right now. So we'll let them leave. Give them a second to go. Okay, now it's just you and me. we have our meetups that we do for the How to Podcast series. We do them during the week, and we also do them on Saturdays. So twice a week, you have the opportunity to meet other podcasters, just like you. Some people have just started. Some people haven't even released an episode yet. Some have been doing it forever. And we get together and talk podcasting. We want to help you in community to continue with your show, to start your show, to grow your show. So come and meet listeners of this show in one space on meetup.com. Again, through howtopodcast.ca, you'll see the links. It's completely free to join. Come whenever you have an opportunity to come. There's no commitment. You don't have to sign any waivers. You can just come join us. Come join the conversation. We'd love to have you there, because the only thing that's going to make these meetups better is you being there. So I'm hoping you will say yes. And you'll say, Dave, I'm tired of podcasting by myself. I wish there were people I could connect with that are fellow podcasters and share my frustrations with guests who ghost me, and my editing software is crapping out on me, and I'm just having this hard time. I'm just having a hard time coming up with podcasts, episodes, and titles, and all the things, and social media. Wouldn't it be great to get in a room with other podcasters and share best practices and learn? 3 of our 4 Saturdays every month are themed. So you have a topic, but that last Saturday of every month is open question and answer. Ask anything. Come meet a podcaster. Come enjoy the podcasting community through howtopodcast.ca. Come to our meetups. Can't wait to see you there. Okay, so I said there's a bonus playlist, and this is it. I want you to do this as well. I want you to be guests on podcasts. You need to not only be the host of your show, you should be on someone else's show. The best way to reach more podcast listeners is to be on more podcasts. And by being a guest on someone's show like this one, you get to be in front of an audience that is not yours. It belongs to somebody else. And they're giving you the opportunity to speak to their community. Don't take it lightly. Come prepared. Serve the audience of where you are guesting. But then also take the episode of you being a guest and create a playlist of you being a guest on other people's podcasts. And group all of your episodes together everywhere you've been, including this show, and put it into that playlist. Side extra bonus is jump in the comments for every episode you've been a guest on and start talking to the people who are talking about you. Because you don't need the host in that moment to build a relationship with the people who have found you through that other show and talking about you as a guest on that podcast. You showing up in the comments and talking to them directly as a listener, as a viewer, and you show up. What a great connection point. So don't fall asleep on this. In addition to all the playlists we talked about today, create a playlist for you on someone else's show and group them all together. And don't forget, every time you go live or are interviewed on another show or guesting or wherever mentioned somewhere, put that in a playlist and call it Dave guesting on shows. I don't know, come up with something more creative than that. But put yourself in every episode you've ever been on in your own playlist and then use it for promotion. Don't forget to do that. That's your bonus playlist, everybody. Don't forget to do that.